Afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining the Starwood Research Call with NexTech AR Solutions and the CEO, Evan Gappelberg. Last week, we published a report on NexTech with a upside price target of $20, which is about 10x upside from where the stock is right now. This is actually a follow-up to a report we published back in November, where the stock was about $1 when we released the report, and we had a $5 upside target. We've recently increased the upside target for the stock based on a couple of very interesting factors, and we're going to talk about those today. And Evan is going to provide some color on two of them, which is the recently launched the 3D ad network and also the AR capture. So you're going to be hearing from Evan in just about 2 minutes. But first, let me just kind of recap what the point of our call is today. For some of you who know Starwood Research, our focus is on microcap stocks with exponential upside potential. So we're looking for 5-10x upside potential stocks. Now, these are high risk, high reward stocks. This is not for widows and orphans, as they say. These are high risk stocks, but they also have huge upside, as we've seen in the past, and as we're seeing now with NexTech. I mean, the stock has been extremely volatile. It's picked up from about 50 cents to a recent high of 250. As you can see from the chart, which we're showing on the screen, there's been some big pullbacks every time it makes a new high. But for those of you who follow technical analysis, the stock is clearly in an uptrend, and a lot of the technical indicators are also very positive. So here are the 5 key things to keep in mind for NexTech. Here's the highlights. Number 1, this is a stock that's in an emerging hot theme of augmented reality. This is expected to be a $120 billion market opportunity, according to many analysts, and this is one of the few public pure play AR stocks out there. So I believe that once this theme takes off, very few people know about AR right now. But there's huge money coming into it. There's a lot of applications. Evan will talk about some of them. You got Facebook, you have Snapchat, Google, Apple. Everybody's launching applications. It's going to be a huge market. So what's going to happen is public attention is going to be focused on these stocks, and I think what could happen is sort of what happened with the cannabis stocks a couple of years ago, where all of a sudden, about 5 years ago, there was only a handful of cannabis stocks, and everybody started buying up, and these things just exploded. Stocks going up, 10x almost overnight. Number 2, what you're going to learn from Evan today, and also if you go to our website to read the full report, which I encourage you to do, starwoodresearch.com has the full report that we published. It goes into all the details. We consider NexTech to be kind of a AR, VR unicorn farm. So it has multiple shots on goal at billion-dollar opportunities. Evan is going to talk about 2 of them today, and next week we're going to do a follow-up, but he's going to go into details about some more of them. 3, NexTech is at a key inflection point. There's multiple catalysts in 2020 for creating value. The stock has done extremely well. There's tremendous news flow, so there's a lot of things lining up which could really make this thing explode. And we've seen the stock be very reactive to news. Anybody who's been watching this has noticed this. Number 4, extremely important in the microcap space, is CEO track record. Evan has a phenomenal track record going back years, or actually decades. Evan, I don't want to make you feel old, but you've been around for a while, as have I. And maybe we'll talk about one of the stories where kind of our paths crossed in another stock that became a 10-bagger. But Evan really is committed to creating shareholder value. It's extremely important because, again, in the microcap space, it's all about the management, and the rest is commentary. Execution is critical, and NexTech has been executing. And 5, we'll talk about that a little bit later, is the unique alignment of value drivers, some of the kind of the X factors that are setting up what we believe could be a parabolic upside move to that $20 level. And that could happen anytime. I mean, this is a stock that could easily go to $5, $7, almost overnight. But enough about our story. Let's um, find out from Evan what's happening with NexTech. Evan, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Jack. Thanks for the great introduction.
Okay, Evan. I'm sorry I didn't. Actually, I should have introduced you when I first started the call, but that's okay. Two of the vertical. You're in 5 verticals, right?
Yep.
And we'll talk about some of them, but 2 of them are kind of, a lot of investors are just learned about these recently. We're talking about the ad network, also the AR capture, which not much has been talked about, but we see those as really key value drivers for the story going forward. And so can you talk a little bit, let's start off, maybe if you could tell us about the ad network, the 3D ad network, what what your plans are, what it means for the company, and so forth, and just provide some color. And I'll turn over to
Sure.
you, to your screen, so hopefully you have the presentation up. So let me go to you.
Tell me when you're ready.
Okay.
Can you see my screen?
Hang on a second. I see your screen, and okay, there we go. Okay, so
Yeah.
yeah,
So I'm gonna bounce around a little bit in here to talk about the 3D ad network. So let's just be clear. We started working on 3D ads about 6 months ago. It's not something that anybody in the space is doing currently. There are some 3D ads out there. It's very limited. There's really no 3D ad networks, and even more to the point, there's no 3D augmented reality ads where inside the 3D ad there's an AR experience. It's really, really transformational and a total game changer for the ad industry. And so, we just went live on the ad network. It's taken us many months to build the platform so that it works. And so we're spending now the next week integrating with SSPs. And what that means is that we're linking our ad network up with the Google, the DoubleClicks, the Ad Colony, the Chart Boosts, the Ad Mobs. These are all the biggest ad networks on the planet. So if you're running a 2D ad or an ad in an app, you would use those ad networks to push your ads through, so that people see it to the eyeballs. And so we're now integrating all those platforms into our ad network, which is going to allow us.
One thing I
What's
want to
that?
ask, the online ad industry, the numbers are what? It's about a $250 billion market each year, right?
It's an enormous market. It's growing, 30, 40% annually. It's a big deal. And all of our retail customers, the AR e-commerce customers that we're signing up, just to put everything into perspective, we might sign them up and they might pay us a couple of $1,000s a year for our augmented reality holographic product views, the SaaS platform, right? Each one of these accounts, these are, they have Shopify sites and Magento sites. They spend, $50,000, $100,000 per month driving ads to their sites, right? Because that's their business, to generate traffic. They've all indicated they're super excited to start using our 3D ad network. So in the coming few weeks, next few weeks, I mean, we already have a line at the door of customers that want to start using our ad network, but it goes way beyond that, Jack. It goes,
one thing which
yeah.
we completely haven't mentioned yet is what makes 3D ads really a game changer for this industry. The 3D ads versus the normal banner ads or the 2D ads that people see. Like there's some numbers that you've released that some analysts, some industry analysts, advertising analysts have put out, which
right.
Really, I mean, the performance, the increase in click-throughs, in conversion rates, it's a game changer. And for your customers, for these guys who are spending, millions of dollars, I mean, if they can increase, their performance by a few percent, it makes all the difference.
Yeah.
I mean, companies spend
It makes
billions
all the difference. Yeah, it does. So when you look at 2D ads, people maybe, there's like a 0.5% conversion rate, right? It's very, very low. It's just, people have kind of gotten burnt out by 2D ads, and everybody uses retargeting. The ads that like follow you around from site to site, and they just kind of stalk you. So that's kind of the current setup for ads. Now, if you look at my screen, you see the jacket spinning in 3D. It's an apparel, piece of apparel. It could be a sneaker, it could be a dress, it could be a hat, it could be a car. And so if I go into that ad, I can click on it with my mouse, look inside. I could zoom in and see what the interior looks like. I could zoom out, spin it, look at the collar. All of a sudden now I'm interacting with this 3D ad. It's no longer a 2D static ad that means very little to me. I'm now able to see the product up close and then click on it and have it take me to the advertiser's website where I could go purchase it. It's a totally different experience. It's fully immersive, and it stimulates 300 to 600% increases in conversion. So
it's a huge number for online advertising.
Huge number. So if you're at 0.5% and you go to 1.5 to 3%, it's a big deal. And that's what has been shown so far. We think it's only going to get better, meaning the animations are going to get better, the ability to do more with the ad is only going to increase. We're integrating messaging in the ad, so you can actually ask a question of the retailer that's pushing the ad to market, and see if they have your size, see what the price is, etc.
That to me seems like that's like the future of e-commerce. And I think you called it conversational advertising or conversational marketing.
Yep.
Okay. So it's I think you've shown examples, but do you have any video you could show any demos of how this works, because people need to see this.
Yeah. So this is our conversational commerce demo that we did with LivePerson and Tamara Mellon. So here's two friends out shopping. They're checking out a pair of Tamara Mellon shoes on Instagram. It opens up a live feed. Now we're in LivePerson's chatbot. This is all AI driven. Welcome to Tamara Mellon. That's an AI chatbot talking with the consumer. They're looking for a pair of shoes that will match the dress. As soon as the chatbot recognizes there's a buyer, it switches to Marissa. She's a personal shopper. She's an actual person. She then pulls up the AR version of the shoes, sends a link inside the chat, inside the message. Next thing you know, the shoes, boom, they're in Marissa's home. She's able to see the shoes next to her dress. Do they match? Is this what I was looking for? Yeah, perfect match. It's exactly what I was looking for. The next thing you know, she goes back into the Tamara Mellon chat. Next thing is, do you have it in stock? Yes. Ready to check out? Great. Goes right into Apple Pay, $575, 1 day shipping, thumbprint, and done. Next day, the shoes show up. That's magic, Jack.
Yeah.
That's the future of commerce. In fact, some people are predicting that websites will become obsoleted by this new technology. Obviously it doesn't happen in a day, but if you think about it, if you could just target, get hyper focused on what the customer is looking for. I mean, you and I both know when you go online and you start looking for a product, what happens? You get fatigued, right? You're looking. It's like, all different shapes, styles, sizes, and then you end up not buying. Well, in this instance,
what's interesting is, I think, is that we both know that really Facebook, the whole value of Facebook was this ability to essentially hyper target advertising, to create these really super targeted offer advertisers these super targeted markets, and this thing is essentially
exactly.
does it.
Yeah, and as you know, we announced that our augmented reality works in Facebook Messenger as well. So again, if you're a retail Shopify site, you have Facebook Messenger integrated into your site, you could drop in an AR asset that you've created with NexTech and communicate to your customer, and they could see, what they're buying. And it doesn't just stimulate buys, which is a big deal. It also reduces returns by up to 80%.
That's huge. Yeah. I mean, that really is that totally affects the company's P&L, that those returns.
100%. I mean, it's a 300 billion global
problem. Yeah.
People return $300 billion annually worth of product. That's a lot.
I think Amazon has huge warehouses built. I mean, they have a whole logistics system just for returns.
Yeah, I know. It's
a whole business.
Yeah, it's a whole business.
And if what you're doing is a solution that cuts down these returns, I think your numbers that you had it reduced the returns by how much? Evan, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Look, that's the thing about technology, is that when you have the right technology working, it's not incremental growth, Jack, that you see in a business's bottom line. It's exponential. And so, what we're experiencing is people are saying, yes, we're signing up customers. Our ad network is something that everybody's excited about and waiting for. And, we're going to start to introduce new technology as the year goes on. And so in the second half of this year, 2020, it won't just be a static image of, 3D AR product. We'll be able to have animations built into the experience. So, you might have a personal shopper show up, and, maybe Tamara Mellon herself will walk onto the screen that you're looking at the shoes. Tamara Mellon shows up and says, these are my favorite shoes. I designed them myself. The material is incredible, and on and on. And so
it totally changes the landscape.
It's totally going to change the landscape. In the next 3 to 5 years, nobody's going to recognize today, meaning, everything we do today is going to be transformed into a super high tech AI, AR driven tomorrow. And NexTech is unique because we have a first mover advantage.
So the market, so we kind of talked about the market. So the market, the online ad market is about 250 billion. It's mostly, I mean, it's mostly static ads or maybe some, I think YouTube, video ads have a piece of that. For, the 3D ads, the capture ads, what percentage of the market can they take? Usually.
100%. It's going to take, it's without a doubt going to take over the whole ad industry. Look, if you go back in time, it's newspaper ads, magazine ads, penny saver ads, all that was going on, mailers, you get postcards, in your mailbox, that was the way advertising was done. It's mostly shifted online. Those businesses are, that are still, if you look at even newspapers, right, they're all going digital. It's because all their ads are online and everybody's getting their information online. So if you think about the next wave, the next transformation, again, it's artificial intelligence coupled with AR, augmented reality. And those two things combined are very, very potent. Spatial computing is part of it. 5G is part of it. The Internet of Things, edge computing, it's total transformation of the world we live in. When Apple comes out with the glasses, it'll be hands-free. You'll be walking down the street and you'll see, as you're walking past certain stores, you'll see an ad pop up, and it won't be a random ad. It'll be based on your likes, meaning the AI is going to identify, just like when you go to Amazon, it knows what you're shopping for, right? It's already knows. Yeah, hyper targeted. It's going to serve up exactly what you're looking for. It's going to be 24/7, and it's going to be frictionless. You're not going to get frustrated. I mean, it might seem a little invasive. Some people may be like, well, I don't know if I'm going to like it. But I think people are going to get very, very comfortable with it very fast because it's not going to be spammy, which is the thing that everybody hates, like spam, right? It's going to be hitting the nail on the head. Somehow it's going to know, the AI is going to know that you're shopping for a vacuum cleaner, and somehow it's going to serve you up a vacuum cleaner that's in your price range,
Yeah.
that's on sale, that you can get delivered to you tomorrow, or maybe with drones it'll be delivered today when you get home, and that's the world that is happening now. 2020 is
Right.
really a pivotal year for technology, and there's no doubt that we're witnessing a transformation of multiple industries. It's a multi-decade, multi-trillion-dollar transformation, and again, NexTech is unique because we have 5 different business segments that we've launched, that each one of the business segments represents a billion-dollar opportunity. We have a toehold, and now we're building the businesses.
Right, and that's, I think, one of the key things that investors really need to understand. I think that's one of the most compelling aspects of NexTech is you have these 5 opportunities, these billion-dollar markets in these kind of unicorn type makers. I want to just add one thing: is this, you showed a demo of clothing, but this it can apply to anything, especially large objects like appliances, furniture. The bigger it is, the more useful your platform can be, because I think that's one of the issues people have is that they don't know how something is going to fit in their home. They don't want to make a $10,000 investment or whatever it is for a major appliance furniture unless if they could see it with the NexTech AR.
Yeah. So 2 things.
Evan, I think your mic just went out. Evan?
a trade show. He hired us to create an AR.
Evan, you know what? I think your mic went out. I think just when you started talking.
Okay,
Um,
can you hear me
you just
now?
said two things. Yeah, if you could pick up from where you were.
Yeah, saying I have to update our slide deck because it shows
Okay.
4 AR verticals,
Okay.
which is true, but we also have VR, which is the 5th business segment now, the V-commerce that we're working on building out. But what I was saying is just before this call, Jack, I was on with the CEO of a medical systems company, and we created an AR experience for him. He took it to a trade show. He said that, there was a big medical products company called Thermo Scientific that was there. That's their distributor, and they distribute for 50 other medical companies. And he said they were the hit of the show. And I'm going to get him on. I'm going to record and do a video with him because he was giddy with
That was a big ticket item.
how much business he's now getting because he's giving all the reps from Thermo Scientific this NexTech AR. This actually is in our university platform, which is an app. So he's giving them this app that allows them to demo his product in 3D, in AR, without actually having to lug the product around. And he was beyond excited. Now he's talking about ARtizing hundreds of components that are inside of his device because he wants to be able to show, how to repair it, if there's something that needs repair, and how the internal workings work. So it's, we're moving now into a stage where we spent 2019, kind of opening up accounts, building our platform, and building now those customers are in market, hugely positive response, and they're coming back and reloading and buying more. We have 100% retention rate, and we're now getting reorders. So that's kind of the story, and it's only going to accelerate. I mean, I'm hiring 6 new sales guys. I'm in Toronto hiring.
Right. So Evan, let's kind of talk about the metrics, some of the numbers, with the online ad model. How do you,
Yeah.
walk us through, how NexTech, makes money with this ad network. So
Sure.
give people so we can get kind of an idea of, what the possibilities are in terms of revenue and, what this can scale to.
So we're hiring an ad network expert, somebody who's going to build a division. It'll have 5 or 6 people in the division by the first half of 2020. Just to be clear, we're just getting started, right? It's brand new. The idea is that first we create the AR asset. We also create the creative, right? So, there's some text behind the 3D asset. There's an ad. That's, let's say, $999 to set up an ad on our platform. Then it's programmatic, right? So the ad goes out into the wild, and you put a price, you have a budget of, let's say, $10,000 for a particular ad. NexTech is able to capture anywhere from 15 to 30% of that $10,000 that's being spent.
Okay. As gross revenue.
on that ad. And so if you think it becomes a money-making machine for NexTech very, very quickly. Because again, the key is that the biggest spend for all the e-com sites is ads. That's the biggest spend. And when you think about brands, and when you think about marketing, to spend $1 million is not unusual, right? So depending upon the size of the company, their ad is enormous. And so we expect to capture, being a first mover, meaning, not even Google is offering this right now. They're still in beta. And when Google comes out of beta, they're still going to be challenged. We're still going to have one up on Google. Why? Because they don't create anything. They just give you the platform, right? So you have to create the 3D asset, you have to create the 3D ad unit, and then load it onto the Google platform, and then it'll show up. The reality is NexTech does all of that for you. We create the 3D asset, we create the creative, and we have the platform that pushes the ad out into the wild, just like Google, no difference in terms of our reach. And so who are you going to use?
I would say, so you're going to capture, so let's say a $10,000 ad budget, you're going to basically, your net revenue from that is going to be 15 to 30% roughly?
15 to 30%, yeah, not including the $1,000 setup charge, but
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's interesting about the online ad business, the ad tech model is it can scale up very quickly, which is what makes the space so compelling. I mean, you can.
Yeah, and just to be clear, the reason why nobody's running 3D ads, it's not happening, and
Yeah.
even AR ads, is that nobody has the ability except NexTech to create the 3D asset and then run it on their own platform. We are the first company. I mean, I'm saying it again because I want to drive home the point. We are the first and only company on the planet to offer 3D asset creation of the creative ad unit, and a custom platform that lets you push your 3D ad onto the market, into the wild, and then to take it up another level, which gives us an additional advantage, is even if somebody did do what I just described, we embedded in the 3D ad a button that turns it into an AR experience. So it's not just the 3D ad, because there have been other 3D ads on the market, but there's never been at least a 3D AR ad ever before. And so that's unique and proprietary to NexTech. And we believe that it's going to give us a huge advantage, not just the first mover, but also the fact that even if somebody tried to compete, even when Google goes live with their 3D ads eventually, which will happen, it's no doubt, they won't be creating the assets, the 3D assets, or the creative, and they won't have the AR component, at least initially. So I predict that in 2020, Google will probably have their 3D ad network live, because I know they're working on it, because we were working on it with them. And then I predict that in 2021, maybe even 2022, they'll integrate what we already have today, which is the AR into the 3D ad. But we'll be so far down the road. Our tech is just moving along very, very fast. Again, we're young, we're nimble, we're quick, and it's a huge advantage. So we're super excited about it, Jack.
What's and how are you going to sell to these customers? What's your strategy for getting customers for the network?
So initially, we're going to our existing base of customers, right? So we're going to our existing customers that we've been signing up over the past year. We're starting now to reach out to agencies. If you think about big brands, they don't do the ads themselves, like the McDonald's of the world, let's say. They use agencies. And so we're now talking to the agencies that handle the multi-million-dollar ad budgets for the big brands, and they're super interested and excited, and we're doing some testing right now.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would think that a lot of them would want to jump on board because of this. The novelty factor is, because you have these high click-throughs, high performance rates. It's something that they really, I think they really can't afford not to try it out. So that could be helpful. Do you have any kind of projections that you feel comfortable making in terms of revenues for the ad network this year, or just something that we can kind of model?
I don't. We haven't put out any projections. I can tell you this, that our earlier projection, which was 20 million in 2020, doesn't include the ad revenue. So that's something I can tell you. So there's a lot of upside to our numbers. I'm just looking at here's some 3D ads performing better, 663% increase in conversions, 376% increase in click-through rates. I mean, these are not insignificant. These are big numbers. So with these types of numbers, we think that there will be a substantial amount of people. I mean, it could be a stampede, but until it happens, Jack, you just never know, right?
Okay, right. So one of the things we kind of highlighted in the research report that we put out was that essentially, if right now, the stock is kind of, I guess it's being valued almost just based on maybe the e-com business, maybe a little bit of kind of giving some value to some of the other things you're doing. But if you can, I think one of the potential catalysts for really a big move in the stock would be if you can start reporting some significant numbers. I mean, like anything like even something between 10 million in revenues for the ad network. That would really that would make a huge difference for the stock. I mean, once you can start scaling. So I know you're not comfortable really giving projections. So we'll kind of leave that kind of out there. As one of the
I would just say that I agree with you wholeheartedly, is that we have our existing business, which is doing very well. It's growing at leaps and bounds, but until we show big numbers, or not even big numbers, but the beginning of a multi-million-dollar business in the ad network, once we do show that, I think there'll be an adjustment in our valuation for sure.
Absolutely, and also I think anybody watching this or reading the report should keep in mind there's actually 5 opportunities that NexTech is going after. So right now we're just talking about the ad network. Next week, Evan, I would love to have you back and go into talk about some of the other things you're working on, which is the educational vertical, the entertainment vertical, and the e-com, all that stuff.
Did you want to talk for a minute about the capture AR technology?
Absolutely. I think that's one of the key things that we want to cover on the call. You came out, you put out
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, so you put out an announcement just recently about your new capture technology. So can you kind of walk us through, obviously, with the power of video, you can show demos, exactly what it is, why, what makes it unique, and why is this such a, a potential, huge opportunity as, we think it might be an opportunity.
Yeah. Can you hear me, Jack?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So in the world of AR, 3D, VR, this whole transformational spatial computing world, the choke point is scaling 3D object creation, or the creation of 3D objects. Nobody's really figured out how to scale. Now, NexTech, being a pioneer and being a leader, we set out to figure out how to do that, to crack the code, and we've done it. And so what we're doing now is we're able to capture assets, 3D objects, using a cell phone, which everybody has in their pocket, taking a video. Obviously, you have to follow some instructions, but it's 3 minutes to 5 minutes of video capture. And from that, we're able to turn around and hand you a 3D AR hologram of the product that you just took a video of. It's a total game-changing technology. We use it in-house here every day. What we're building now, though, is an app. And the app is, in beta. It's going to be on iOS, as well as on Android, and it's going to let you capture photo quality 3D objects from a phone, and it's going to open the floodgates, literally open the floodgates to business for not just NexTech, but the entire augmented reality, virtual reality ecosystem, because everybody's just going to be able to take out their phone, take a video onto our platform. Our black box will do its thing and give the user a 3D asset. And so we expect that to really ignite our business, because once you have the 3D asset, what are you going to do with it? Well, you're going to hire NexTech and pay us to either run a 3D ad for you on our ad network, which we just spoke about, or you're going to put it on your e-com site and let shoppers view their product as a hologram, or you're going to do both. And so we see it as a huge win. We're working really hard to get the 1.0 version to market. We're kind of making sure that it's done right. So we're taking a little more time to get it perfect for consumer use and for business use, and we expect that to be on the market shortly, in Q1. And then, the 1.1 version, the 1.2 version will get even better and better and faster and faster. And so we expect this year a lot of our future revenue and business to be really accelerating once we launch this app. It's just going to open the floodgates, and again, not just for NexTech, but for the entire augmented reality 3D ecosystem. So it's just a big deal.
Yeah, so what's interesting about this app is the ability or the opportunity for it to really scale up. I mean, we've seen apps go to 5 million installs overnight, and this is certainly something that's
well
unique.
I mean, if you think, if we only charge $9.99 a month for people to use the app, I mean, initially the idea is the user will be able to get 3 or 5 freebies, right? So it's a freemium model. Try it out, 3 to 5 free ones. Once they get the hang of it, they'll be able to decide whether they want to subscribe, $9.99 a month or not. Assuming they do, we think that we can have 1 million people in the app in the first year. So, and we think that number could grow. It could be 5 or 10 million over the coming years. So it's a big number for us, and it's a big opportunity, and it's just another one of our business segments that has multi-billion-dollar potential.
Right. So that's again, that's you know, one of the reasons why we have this. We put out this report with, you know, what seems like an aggressive, you know, projection of, you know, $20 upside. But you know, keeping in mind that you have these you know, these five verticals, these five opportunities you're going after. Each of these is almost, I mean, is you know, could be a company in itself, and if they were individually valued, you know, if they were, you know, kind of, I don't think you're going to be spinning them all, but if they were, each one could have a valuation which is, you know, greater than, you know, the current market cap right now, which is, what is it? It's 110 million right now.
Yeah, yeah. You know,
Yeah.
I look at our market cap as, you know, just a startup market cap, just a beginning. The goal is to build $1 billion valuation. The goal is to uplist to NASDAQ. You know, we're already in discussions. Everything's looking good. There's a couple of little pieces that need to get completed, but we see nothing but blue skies, Jack. We think that 2020 is going to be a breakout year for AR, for VR, and for NexTech for sure.
Okay. Evan, I think on that note, we'll, you know, we're going to kind of wrap it up. And again, I encourage anybody watching this really
Great.
to go to starwoodresearch.com, check out the full report. You can sign up for the email so you can get the updates on NexTech. Because, you know, one of the things that's compelling about this stock is there's a lot of news flow. So that is, you know, one of the things that's compelling about the story. There is going to be a lot of attention on this stock in the weeks and months ahead. So, Evan, I want to thank you, and we'll catch up with you next week.
All right, Jack. Great talking with you. Thanks.
Thank you, Evan.